dip, exposing real offensive concerns. That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
Right now, 35 degrees at 10 o'clock. Time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
With the 9th pick in the draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select running back from Florida, Fred Taylor.
Gerard on the give. Here's Taylor. Busting through. Fred Taylor making the cut. Taylor is gone. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
Listen, Fred Taylor is a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest running backs to ever play in this game. He's the greatest running back to play here in Jacksonville.
Here's the handoff to Taylor, looking for some cutback. He finds some room. Look at Fred go. He's across the 30. Look at him run. Fred's going. He's at the 50, the 40. They won't stop at 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown. 80 yards. Fred Taylor.
He had 6 1,200-yard seasons.
All right.
He also averaged 4.6 yards a carry, which is a high-end number.
Don't sleep on that.
Not at all.
Okay.
And the only running backs to have 6 1,200-yard seasons plus and 4.5 yards a carry or more are Adrian Peterson, Barry Sanders,
Jim Brown.
And here's the handoff to Fred looking for the cutback. He's got room right at the middle 10. Frank's there. He's at the 20. Fred's on the run to the 25 and the 30. He's going 40. Fred 50. Fred 40. Fred 30. Fred 25, 20. And pulled down at the 18-yard line by Jason David. He saved the touchdown. What a run by Fred.
You're legitimately argued like the most underrated player of all time. Like, would you put yourself in that category?
That's based on media standard. Talk to Ray Lewis. You talk to Ed Reed. Name anybody that was on defense. These coaches. Talk to Coach Dungy. Talk to Jeff Fisher. Coach Belichick. All these coaches that had the game plan for me, they knew what I presented on the field. They knew I was a problem. I'm sure they wouldn't say I was overrated.
Draw play. Taylor skips 2 tackles. All right, and here we go. Yeah. Bye-bye. Brock Marion chasing. Brock Marion still chasing. Gets help from Smith. Touchdown. No flags. A 90-yard run.
Fred Taylor spent 11 years with the team, and today he signed a one-day contract so he could retire a Jaguar.
I guess the terms of the one-day deal is just having the opportunity to close out and do what I always wanted to do, and that's retire as a Jaguar.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and R.J. Saunders.
Oh, we got him for one more week. Jeffrey Lageman here with us. Not officially a Check the Tape Tuesday, but it's a Check the State of the Jaguars Tuesday. It's an always Check the State of the Jaguars day here on Jaguars Today. Happy Big 5-0. Freddie Taylor, man. Come on, Tony. He's 50 years old today, Fred Taylor. Hope he's feeling every one of those years like I am on this cold morning. Logs, good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. And we also have another birthday today, the Jaguars COO, Chad Johnson.
Hey, Chad Johnson.
Today as well.
Yes,
yeah.
the most famous Chad Johnson who's ever been associated with the NFL. I think it's fair. Oh, wait. Top 2 most famous Chad Johnson.
The name, yes.
Yes, true. That kept the name. Does it make you feel old? You may feel old anyway, Locks, but does it make you feel old when a guy like Fred Taylor, when last seen, running past everybody, at 1,000,000 miles an hour, turns 50 years old today?
Well, he made me feel old when he came in the league in 1999, which was my last year, or excuse me, 1998, his first year in the league. My last year in the NFL and in practice, I used to watch him run, and I was going, geez, man, I'm getting so old. I don't have a prayer of catching this guy or tackling this guy just because he was so fast and so young. And now I look at Fred, and he's 50 now, and he's got some gray in that beard, and I look at mine, and mine's like almost all gray. I sit there and go, yeah, I am getting really old.
Yeah, we're all doing it collectively here. And, if Fred Taylor on his birthday is a good day to highlight what went down yesterday matters. And what went down yesterday, Jeff and Tony and RJ, of course, as you're all well aware, is that Shedeur Sanders gets selected as who knows what alternate, maybe the 17th alternate. but he goes to the Pro Bowl, right? I don't know what alternate he is, but at the end of the day, Logs, if you go to Pro Football Reference and you look up Shedeur Sanders, you know what it's going to say next to his name for his rookie year? PB. For Pro Bowl, right? Exactly. But Fred Taylor only went to one Pro Bowl because the game is rigged when it comes to the Pro Bowl. It has become less than meaningless. It's not completely meaningless, but when a guy like Devin Lloyd can't make it on his first go-round, and Shedeur Sanders is going to be known as Pro Bowl quarterback Shedeur Sanders after the rookie year he had, I just think it's kind of silly.
Well, a lot of that's just popularity. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's very similar to the Hall of Fame in a lot of respects. I mean, the Hall of Fame, you got to have great performance, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's the Hall of Fame. Okay, and if you're famous for certain things and not necessarily your long-term performance over your career, then you have a great chance of being in the Hall of Fame. And the Pro Bowl is a popularity contest just like that in some cases. So a lot of people, I'm sure, were voting for Shedeur Sanders just because, I mean, it was a recognizable name. I mean, the amount of publicity that he received leading up to the draft and especially during and then after the draft was immense. And so it's at a lot of people, it's on the top of a lot of people's brains when they sit there and they write down their votes.
I don't even know this is a voting thing though. Like once you get past like the first wave of alternates, who I assumed turned them down, I think the NFL has the wherewithal to invite whomever they want to fill those spots.
Well, they continue to pay the price on taking the Pro Bowl out of Hawaii. Right? Like
nobody wants to go.
It used to be an event. If you were a Pro Bowler, you got to go spend the week in the island, right? Like you got to go do that. Now you don't. And so Tyler Huntley and Shedeur Sanders can be Pro Bowl quarterbacks.
And Mitch Trubisky and other guys. Right. I mean, It's just, he's not the first. It's not an anti-Shedeur thing. It's just it happens, it seems, Logs, at the quarterback position more than not. Maybe the other positions, maybe quarterbacks are paid so well they don't care about picking up that Pro Bowl bonus. I don't know what it is.
Look, no, they're not. I mean, Mike, if you were making 30, 40, 50 million dollars a year, would you even want to think about putting yourself at risk going to the Pro Bowl? I mean,
yeah, but they don't even play.
Wouldn't.
They don't even play. Now it's become just like go hang out, go, participate in some skill contest if you want to, and just show up, do a couple of autograph signings, and, get the Pro Bowl recognition that comes with it.
Would you rather do that, or would you rather spend a little bit of your own money and go somewhere for a week and nobody's telling you what your schedule is?
Don't get me wrong. I would, right. Now, but to some people, I think, if you're a young player, it's still an honor to be recognized if you're truly being recognized. When you have more interceptions than touchdowns thrown, I mean, I don't know where Shedeur Sanders is between a rock and a hard place. Do you want to go to the Pro Bowl? Yes. Oh, you don't deserve to be there. Do you want to go to the Pro Bowl? No. Oh, look how entitled he is. He gets the opportunity. Right. I mean, you're not going to win if you're Shedeur Sanders unless you just decline it and it doesn't become a story then, and we don't know that. But eventually somebody's going to go with some bad numbers, and you're going to go, well, wait a minute, this guy went, and Shedeur Sanders couldn't even beat out this guy. So he's almost in a no-win situation, depending on, whether he says yes or no to that.
Yeah, I think they almost have to come up with a different system of honoring the greatness of players in the modern day NFL besides the Pro Bowl. Because I mean, the Pro Bowl, I mean, the actual concept of a Pro Bowl, playing the game or doing a skills competition or anything of that nature, to me, it doesn't matter. I mean, it really doesn't matter to the players anymore. I mean, so there's got to be a way to recognize the great play or performance of the season without having the Pro Bowl be the only kind of answer. I mean, look, I know that there's, the AP, All Pro and things of that nature, but you almost wish that there was some type of system to where you had the players and the coaches that voted and didn't have any other input. And then there was a team that was recognized based upon the vote. And then that was it. You didn't say, okay, well, you know what, if he can't go, then we're going to give him the honor just because we need to fill the spot.
Right, just name the team. It is what it is. It's the team.
Yeah, when you start just filling the spot, then you cheapen it, and you cheapen the honor of the quote unquote Pro Bowl.
No, I agree, and it's still I couldn't tell you honestly. Probably Tony and I went to the Pro Bowl And was that the Eli Manning? Who was in that? It was in Arizona. Was that the second Giants?
Seattle.
Was that Seattle playing in that one? Okay.
Yeah, I remember because when we were there in the stadium for the Pro Bowl, they were announcing that's
Seattle
right.
They're
San Francisco.
They're announcing, I think, Seahawks, and they were booing the hell out of the Seahawks in Arizona. Anyway, we went to the Pro Bowl logs. We had credentials and free seats and what have you, and we're looking at each other at halftime. We're like, why are we here? There's literally nothing going on, and they were still actually trying to play a game at that point. We left at halftime of that. I don't think I've watched another second of Pro Bowl anything from that point on. I don't feel like I've missed anything.
Events the last couple of years.
I'm just not a skills competition watcher.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they're fine. Yeah.
So, Logs, your final day around these parts, we'll dig into a bunch of Jaguar issues that face them heading into the offseason. If folks want to get in with you today, they know the ways to do it, but we'll remind them one more time at 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC phone lines, also on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. At that number, you can hit us up on the socials today at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, at Logs56, and at R has no J, and stream us on YouTube, Facebook, and X if you so desire. Talking Jaguar ball with you. Give us your questions for Jeff Lageman. Make use of the great resource that we have every Tuesday before Jeff goes on his off-season hiatus from Jaguars Today. You got him for the next couple of hours here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. You know, you can listen to 1010XL on your smart speaker.
Alexa, play 1010XL.
In fact, any speaker that plays 1010XL
1010XL
is pretty smart.
The First Coast Games is an annual team-building challenge to introduce fun activities into the workplace and focus on your employees' health and wellness goals. These goals include some friendly competition, of course, including pickleball, cornhole, volleyball, flag football, and other team sports. The games will begin in March. Register your company and teams at fcymca.org.
Jaguars Today Tuesday, kept pest-free by Julington Creek Pest Control.
Game days aren't the only win happening in the 904. Best of Bold City named 904 Gutters with a Z the #1 seamless gutter company in Duval. Like the team's O-line protects their QB. Call the winning team at 904 Gutters with a Z to protect your home from the rain.
A new year is the perfect time to finally get organized. Hey, this is Lauren Brooks, and I love our closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live. From closets and garages to home offices, entertainment centers, laundry rooms, and more. Beautiful, functional storage for any space, lifestyle, and budget. Start the new year strong with 40% off plus an extra 15% off, free installation, and 18-month special financing. Schedule your free in-home consultation. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
What's up, Duval? I'm Chad Valamek, owner of Purple Heart Pools, Jacksonville's veteran-owned pool company for over 10 years. We specialize in new pool construction and pool renovations, built on military values, integrity, communication, attention to detail, and honor. Now is the perfect time to start your pool project, so when the heat hits, your pool is ready. As an Iraq War veteran and Purple Heart recipient, pride in what I do is everything. Let me show you the difference in how my team and I execute your pool project with military precision. Call Purple Heart Pools, Jacksonville's veteran pool company.
Fish know where to hide. Captain Kevin knows how to find them.
That's a big one.
Listen for the Wing Power Fishing Forecast Show, brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Royal Pest Services.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Some auto shops call it an inspection and flag any little thing. That's called a wallet flush. At AA Automotive, they don't play that game. They fix only what needs fixing. AA Automotive on Richard Street. Boring name, awesome service, and no wallet flush.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to ITPPartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success. Feel the power of Van Halen. Live. Jump. America's Van Halen experience. Iconic riffs. And David Lee Roth era energy. Sunday, February 1st at Thrasher Horn Center. Get tickets now at thcenter.org.
Checkmate. I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the adorable chess man on the tracks.
There are two things you should ask yourself about your garage floor. How clean is it now, and how clean would you like it to be? A typical bare concrete floor doesn't just collect dirt, it makes dirt.
It is literally made of dirt.
As much as you sweep and mop, the dust and grit just never ends.
And drips from your car seep into the pores, staining the concrete forever.
A Checkmate multi-layer floor resists drips and stains. It comes in your choice of dozens of colors and sweeps up sparkling clean in just seconds.
No need to wear shoes in the garage and track dirt back in the house.
Gorgeous?
Check. Durable?
Check. Tidy enough to walk on wearing clean white socks? Checkmate!
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Jeff Lageman Tuesday on Jaguars Today is brought to you by Napa Auto Care. Go to the pros Napa know-how. JacksNapaAutoCareGroup.com on 1010XL.
All right, if you want to get in with Jeff Lageman today, your final opportunity until probably around training camp time with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know the ways to do it, but primarily 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC phone lines. Logs, we're doing a little piece here that we'll post on social media later today based on free agent values, okay? Spot Track, we all know that site, right? They track contracts of NFL players in different sports leagues and what have you, along with Over the Cap. They have a free agent projection for Travis Etienne that's somewhere in the $7 million range as a projected free agent this year. His agent comes in and says, hey, we'd love to sign 3 years, let's say $24 million. Let's round it up to 8. Is that a good deal for the Jacksonville Jaguars? And do you prioritize making the cap space to make that happen?
Yeah, I think it's a possibility, but I think a lot of it just depends on the mentality or the mindset of the person in charge of talent, which is James Gladstone. Now, if you're asking me, if the Jaguars are in a great cap situation, is it best to use that on ETN or is that best to be used somewhere else, on your roster? I think it's a great question. I don't know if I would have a solid answer one way or the other, but if you came to me, Mike, and said, hey, that 24 million is going to be for a 4-year deal, then, or we do a 3-year deal for, the less than that, 16 or something like that, I think you're more in the ballpark of where I would want to be. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. But here's the reality: he's the most reliable, dependable back that you have on your roster right now. And so when you have that, it's hard to part ways with somebody of that caliber. So the answer to the question, if I had to, if you put my arm to the fire and said you have to make a decision, yes or no, I would say no, Mike. I mean, it's a running back position, and I just think you can find guys in the draft that can be productive. I also think that you have a pretty good one in Basal Tootin. But again, if the number was a little bit better, then I would consider that with ETN. And when I say a little bit better, if I would be more apt to want to do like a 2-year deal with a guy like ETN than I would, a 3 or 4-year deal.
So if it was going to be a 2-year deal with ETN, would you be willing to bump up the money a little bit where it was pushing more the 11, 12 million a year?
No, I'm not going that high. I'm just not. I mean, I'm not doing that for a back. I still believe that the market for a back that's too high for a back, and it's nothing against ETN. I mean, trust me, I think he's an outstanding back, and he's been great for this football team. Love him. I mean, just love him. He's been dependable. He's been durable, especially this past year. He's been secure with the ball. But I can't find a way to commit that kind of money to that spot. I can't do it.
Do you think they'd be easily able to replicate what he gave them last year? I understand the path that they could take to do that, but how likely is it that you're going to find a back that can give you the production he had yardage and touchdown wise this year?
Well, it's not going to be easy, but I mean, I think it would be difficult to also to replicate it even with ETN back. I mean, he had a perfect year. He was healthy and he was available for every game. And that's pretty rare. And if you look at his history, I mean, that always hasn't been the case. So yeah, that's a lot to ask of anybody. I mean, there's not many backs out there that kind of have that special ability to be durable, available, and productive all at the same time. And again, I love ETN. I think he's a really good back. He's versatile because he can also not only carry the ball on first and second down like a true running back, but he's excellent out of the backfield receiver, as he showed this past year. So, it's one of those things where you'd love to be able to find a way to make it work, but I just have a feeling that he's going to have to get the free agency to see what the market is, because the market for running backs, with the exception of a couple of marquee guys, it's not that high.
The transition tag, as we've discussed a few times here on the show already, could be in play for ETN, which would be around $11 million if he came back on a one-year deal on that. What would you want to pay, in light of the conversation we're having here about him? What would you want to pay ETN, even if it was back for just a one-year deal?
I mean, look, and I think everybody's going to be different on this. Tony and James Gladstone, maybe they feel like 11 million would be fair. And look, I totally get it. I mean, everybody values people at different levels, and I may say like I like them at, let's say, 7 or 8 million. But the reality is there's some other team may say, you know what, we like him at 10. And if that's the case, then and if you got to stick by where you have that value at. I mean, it's hard to do, but it's in some ways you have to have this unemotional approach to personnel. I think a lot of times in the National Football League, and if you looked at the great teams that have been able to perform year in and year out, they've always been willing to take the chance of losing a player, and but they never stop having the conversation until they lose the player itself, and then they're also willing to have a conversation again in the future to bring him back. So I think in this case it's almost best for everybody if you just get to the market and let everybody see where that market is at, and then make a decision at that point.
Well, and the transition tag would let you do that because he can still go out there and sign with another team, and you have the right of first refusal to match it. And
Yeah, but the problem with the transition tag, Mike, is that it pushes teams away having the right to match. So that really does, it pushes the interest away. And in a lot of ways, from a player standpoint, the transition tag is looked at as being very limiting. And there, I think, in a lot of instances, there will be not very good feelings from the player towards the club if that were applied in this instance, in my opinion.
yeah, I'm not worrying about that personally. If I decide that the economics make sense for me, I mean it's a tool in your tool chest, and you're allowed to use it. And I'm not going to feel bad about paying a running back $11 million if it comes to that. He can feel however he likes about that. By the way, Spot Tracks, I don't know if you'd agree with this, Logs. The market value projections on the top 5 backs, according to them, on the market, Brees Hall is worth the most. Okay, $10.3 million they're projecting on an average annual value. Kenneth Walker, who we have seen has his profile raised throughout the postseason, $8.4 million average annual value. A lot of people have said, hey, let ETN walk and replace him with Rachaad White, who was down in Tampa with Liam Cohen. He's projected to make more than ETN at 7.6, Javonte Williams at 7.3, and then ETN at $6.8 million as an average annual value. So again, I don't know how accurate those are going to turn out to be. Market.
Well, let me ask you
drive
this: so if the values that you're talking about there are putting the top end backs like a Brees Hall at 11 million, and you're saying that the transition tag is 11 million. I mean, then why would you want to consider having ETN for 1 year at 11 million?
Why would you want to consider having him? Because you think he's a great fit in your offense and you don't want to commit to him long term beyond this year, and you want to make sure he's back. And you want to address other positions. You're going to lose guys. I mean, there are plenty of reasons, I think, why you'd want him back. I know that they've discussed possibly applying the transition tag. I don't know what their final decision is going to be on that, but I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons. Travis Etienne, to me, other than Trevor Lawrence, was the offensive MVP of this football team, and I don't. And while generally I'm of the mind to regurgitate running backs and turn them over, I think he was a great fit for what they did this year. And I hate to have to. I don't know. I think Basil Tootin can do a lot of those things. I don't know that that's the case, I guess would be the argument.
Yeah, I think you definitely want to make sure that you supplement that position group. I mean, because when I say supplement, you don't want to go into the season saying, "Well, Basil Tootin's our guy," and he's the only guy that we got. You got to have multiple options. And if you go back and you look at where both James Gladstone and Liam Cohn have come from, I mean, they've come from organizations that have believed in having multiple backs and not necessarily one higher paid back. They've had multiple backs that could contribute, and it's kind of going with the hot hand kind of a situation. And then also just because of the injury possibility is high with that position, that a deep backfield is something that you would desire to have. So, I mean, my reaction is that look, if ETN does move on, which you hope that he's able to come back at an affordable number that kind of makes everybody happy, that you want to have some depth at that position. If he doesn't come back, then Basil Tootin, then you got to go and find somebody else. I mean, whether that's through the draft or free agency or what have you. That position is kind of like the offensive line, kind of in their viewpoint, and that you got to have depth, and you got to have depth through the practice squad, to where you're looking at 3 or 4 deep.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, but that's the same anywhere practically. You want to have depth, but yeah, you use a lot of running backs. There's no question about that. I mean, look, there are arguments on both sides, and generally I'm of the mind to not pay a running back, but it worked out pretty well when Philadelphia paid Saquon Barkley, and he was the final piece to put him over the top. I just think that this team is close, and if they were 2-3 years away, I mean, I think they have to look at themselves as a Super Bowl contender right now and try to maximize that window. I'm not saying, write off the future by any means, but I don't think it's an easy decision by any stretch for what they're going to do. All right, 641-1010 if you want to get in with a question or comment about Jaguar football for Jeff Lageman. Let's go. We'll start with Gavin in St. Johns County this morning. Gavin, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. My question was, what is your guys' opinion about if they did go after Brees Hall? I feel like he'd be a good fit for the team, and I feel like he's a better back than ETN. If the tag is $11 million, why not spend that $11 million on Brees Hall?
All right, Logs. So let's play devil's advocate on that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that's something that if the price tag is gonna be equal, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a Hall that's a younger player that is considered a little bit better player? I think in most circles, yeah. I mean, I kind of be along that same mindset, and it's kind of why I brought up, look, if the transition tag for ETN is $11 million, why not? Look at some of the other options that are more affordable. I mean, I think you got to look at everything, and including, where you're allocating the total resources at. You've got one salary cap pool to distribute among all positions. And I think other positions impact your decision making on the running back position. So I think you also have to look at it from kind of a big picture perspective or a little bit more distant viewpoint, and not be kind of, right there tight to that position, looking at just that position group. You got to have a very broad view of the entire roster to make decisions, I think, that are going to impact specific positions.
As far as Brees Hall goes, the reason you wouldn't sign Brees Hall is because along with that $11 million, the transition tag doesn't commit you to any money beyond 2026. With Breece Hall, what's the signing bonus going to be? How much salary cap space are you going to need over the next 4 years plus? I mean, that's a whole direction that you're committing to. Like, to me, ETN is saying, all right, one more year of this mix, then it's going to be Bajal Tutin as the lead back. Whereas if you bring in Breece Hall, you're basically relegating Bajal Tutin to backup status for the remainder of his rookie contract here in Jacksonville. I don't know that Breece Hall is that much better if he is better than Travis Etienne. I think the difference is negligible. He averaged 4.4 yards a carry. Etienne averaged 4.3 this year, and their career numbers are similar in that department. Etienne has a much better nose for the end zone historically than Breece Hall has had. And granted, Breece Hall's playing on a bad football team as well. But I'm not looking to sign a running back for a multi-year big money deal. I guess that is the point.
Yeah, the other thing too, I think that you take into consideration here, because with that, let's say you put the transition tag on him, right? I mean, you got 11 million payout this year. I mean, $11 million payout for one guy on a 1-year deal. Yes, it doesn't carry risk in a year 2 and everything else. But let's say you have another position on your team that you're looking to fill. $11 million out of this 1 year takes the ability away from doing other things on longer term deals because of the amount of pie that's being taken out on that 1-year deal right now.
Yeah, to some degree. But the way I look at it, they spent 10 on De'Ami Brown. You kidding me? I mean, they spent 10, and he wasn't even active down the stretch. $11 million is a bargain in that light for Travis Etienne. At least you know what you're getting, and you know what fit it is. They were willing to gamble $10 million on a guy who'd never done anything and continue to never do anything. To me, like that, those are the ones I have an issue with. That they decide, and I'm not like locked in that they have to have Etienne back. But if they do, I'll understand why, because there's proof of concept. I mean, he's shown you what he can do in this very specific offense, and there's no need for guesswork, I guess, would be how I'd look at it. So anyway, all right, let's move off of that and some other Jaguar-related stuff. Jeff Loggeman is here with us. If you'd like to get in, 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC phone lines. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
When your home or business deserves more than ordinary glass, you trust the experts. Capital Glass and Shower Doors has been elevating spaces for over 40 years with precision, craftsmanship, and clean, modern design. From sleek frameless shower enclosures to elegant glass railings, wine cabinets, and any custom glass that makes a statement, Capital Glass delivers unmatched quality, service, and attention to detail. Your vision, their expertise. Capital Glass and Shower Doors at capcoglass.com.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
It's a Jaguars Today Tuesday, sparked by Julington Creek Pest Control.
It's 2026, and it's time to get your home zero-resified by calling our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. 20% off carpet and upholstery cleaning right now, plus take $100 off air duct cleaning when you mention 1010XL. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Hi, this is Dave Barker with IHRS. People ask, are your solutions for thinning hair permanent? Yes, our solutions have permanent natural results and are guaranteed to work. Put our 35 years of experience helping 10,000 plus men and women to work for your thinning hair. Our trademark hair transplant procedures will give you 3 times more hair in one procedure. PRP and laser treatments are fast, easy, and effective, and only take 30 minutes. Most of our staff have experienced hair loss ourselves. Our caring and confidential team can help you look better and feel better about yourself and restoring your hair again.
For your confidential consultation, call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or go to hairforme.com. That's hairforme.com.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, letting you know that Hardball now offers web stores, so your employees can order their own branded gear, and you have more time for Wordle. Check it out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Jeff Lageman, Tuesday,
Is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care. Go to the pros Napa know-how. JacksNapaAutoCareGroup.com on 1010XL.
All right, Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Loggeman, RJ Saunders here with you. Jaguars today rolling on this Tuesday, last day with Logs for a little while. So get those questions in if you would like. Logs from Miguel this morning on the X platform. Do you think the Jags can replicate their defensive ranking specifically against the run? Let's presume Anthony Campanile is back, by the way. He's had a couple of interviews in Arizona. I've heard they went very well. That doesn't mean he'll definitely get the job. I hope he's back. But Logs, do you feel like they had, they had a lot of success generating turnovers this year? Is that a statistic that is reliable year after year? And just how do you think do they look at needing to rebuild elements of this defense, or do they feel like there's going to be a lot of pieces back in place and it's just fine-tuning things moving forward?
Well, I think you're gonna have to work incredibly hard from I think a management standpoint to bring as many guys back as you possibly can to that defense. And then the initial question you had is it easy to replicate the number one run defense ranking in the National Football League? It's incredibly hard to be able to replicate that year after year. You feel really good though about the possibility of being close to that if you're bringing Campanile back, just because he's done a tremendous job of really, I think, installing a culture on defense and a mindset on defense this year. And part of that mindset was, hey, stopping the run first, and then also the awareness for taking the ball away, because a lot of times those two things are about purpose and about mindset, because the takeaway thing, I mean, look, you had basically the same or very similar personnel going back to 2024 when you only had 9 takeaways, where this year you had 31. I mean, was it that dramatic of a difference of personnel? No. It was about the teaching points and the emphasis that the coaching staff put on the run defense. You got to give a lot of credit to a couple guys. Devon Hamilton, his improvement, the return of Foye Luakin to the middle, the return of Devin Lloyd to the weak linebacker spot. So it's going to be a challenging year to say, okay, well, we want to get back and be the number one ranked defense against the run and also, a top 3 team in takeaways. I mean, number 2, I think we ended up at, but if you're just somewhere in the upper quartile, in takeaways on an annual basis, you're doing really good.
Do you think, Jeff, that it's easier to recreate the success they had as a run defense or the turnover numbers that they had in general?
Is it easy to replicate them?
Which is easier to replicate?
Oh, gosh. I would probably say the run defense is a little easier to get back into the same neighborhood, just because it's scheme, it's personnel. Whereas the takeaway, sometimes you got to get some breaks. I mean, the ball's got to bounce certain ways for you to get those takeaways. So yeah, I would say run defense would be a little bit more likely.
How did they create the amount of turnovers they did without the sack numbers being any better than they were?
It's about emphasis. I mean, if you look at it, the first of all, number one, the biggest change from the defense from going back to the 24 season to this year or this past year was they played a lot more zone. When you play zone, you have a chance of making more interception because you got eyes at the ball and you have eyes at the quarterback. So I think the likelihood of making interceptions is higher compared to like man coverage. I say that's number one. Pressure is also a factor because the reality is that the amount of pressure that you generate, and I think Josh Allen is a perfect example of that. Because look, he only had 8 sacks, but he was a top 5 guy in the National Football League at pressures, and pressure is one of the things that impacts the thrower and causes interceptions. So I think that's a big deal there. And you hope that this year you can get more pressures from elsewhere and yes, more sacks as well. But pressures are the big thing when it comes to getting interceptions.
Like how much did you know about Anthony Campanile when he took the job last year?
I didn't know a whole lot about him, Mike, but I had a chance to meet him in the springtime when he first got here and talked with him quite a bit about ball and I was really impressed with him. Uh, Excellent communicator, and I was very excited about where he came from, because you guys heard me talk about in the past when the Jaguars were getting ready to play the Green Bay Packers and how good their defense was, how they contested nearly every ball. They didn't make any mistakes, and then it really highlighted it going back a couple years ago because Green Bay came in and they were so good on defense and tight. When I say tight, again, not giving up a whole lot of stuff. And the Jaguars defense was the complete opposite at that point, giving up a lot of explosive plays. I mean, so I was very hopeful that that mindset from Green Bay would come in, and it absolutely did. And I think there was, some small bumps in the road early on just because Campanelli was a first time play caller. And I think there's some adjustment there. Anytime you go to thinking you can call plays and kind of being a positional coach only to now all of a sudden you're running the whole show and you got to call the plays. It's a big adjustment. And I think early in the season, there were a few bumps, but man, a quick learner, fast learner, Campanelli was. And I think he really dialed in and adapted to what his defense was doing best to highlight those talents to give them the best chances of success. And that was very impressive.
Yeah, so if they were to lose him, Arizona, let's say, hires Anthony Campanile. We don't know that that'll be the case. But let's say they did, right? And how do you start from the ground up again, or do you think a new DC comes in and says some of these things work? Because I know everybody wants to put their imprint on it, run the system that they want to run, but obviously you've got to have the personnel that matches up. I guess my overall point is, how difficult would it be to replicate the first year success Anthony Campanile had with another coordinator for the second year in a row?
It wouldn't be easy. It definitely wouldn't be easy, and that would be a big challenge, And I think that's one of the reasons why I think as a head coach, you always want to keep working your staff to where you are developing guys within your staff to where when you do lose coordinators, you feel like, okay, we don't have to change the whole system and we don't have to change our entire staff on one side of the ball just because we're losing one guy. We're just kind of adapting, adjusting, and elevating the next guy into the same system, so our players continue, so they can continue to evolve under the same comfort, the comfort of kind of being home, so to speak.
All right.
But look, the thing that I think that was most impressive to me about Campanile was, look, I mean, the turnovers were incredible. The number one run defense, incredible. Top 10 in points allowed, incredible. But guys, go back and think of how many different guys played this year. I'm talking across the board: safeties, corners, up front. I think the linebacker position was probably the only exception, but there was such a selfless attitude with this defense that really impressed me. I mean, guys weren't sitting there going, "Hey, how come I'm not starting? How come I'm not getting the nod?" They didn't care. I mean, all they cared about was the success of the team as a whole. And to me, you got to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff. I mean, obviously to Liam Cohen for kind of leading the ship in that, but also to Anthony Campanelli because that's incredibly hard to find at the professional level. Very hard.
All right, more with Jeff Logman straight ahead. Your questions submitted in whatever form, we'll get them to Log, so keep them coming in, and your thoughts on Jaguar football as we go until noon today on a final sort of Check the Tape Tuesday. Jeff's final thoughts on the Jags before the offseason kicks in for real. You're listening to Jaguars Today here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Duval all day. Search 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube.
Playoff football calls for the grill. The January Rancher Box from local Fair Jacks is packed with pasture-raised beef, free-range chicken, and pork. All local, all delivered. Stock up for game day at localfairjacks.com.
It's Jaguars Today Tuesday.
Protected by Shirlington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
If you missed it, get it on demand.
And you send those out on the line.
Find your 1010XL favorites where you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com. Channel 5, Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Lauren Brooks here, and if you're getting a tax refund this year, here's a great way to use it. Invest in new tires from Big Chief Tire. I've trusted the Parman family for years because they always take care of my car like it's their own. New tires make your ride safer and more reliable, and that's worth every penny. Schedule the best service in town at WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 and put your refund to work.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Running a small business is tough, so the Florida Small Business Development Center at UNF provides a free business checkup, a personalized analysis that helps you boost profits, your online presence, and increase your company's value. No cost, no strings attached. It's guidance from experts who understand what it takes to succeed in business. Whether you're just starting out or ready to expand, it's time to act. Complete a request for consulting at unf.edu/SBDC.
This is the home of the Florida Gators. Get your Gators hoops on 1010XL. Brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, why is it that when you look at how long a store has been in business, that it always seems to be the stores like Underwood's that sell fine quality that have been around the longest?
Frank, that's a question that really doesn't get asked a lot, but it should be. There are a number of reasons, but probably the biggest is because of the endorsements our longtime customers and their pieces of jewelry have given us through the years. You see, when you sell really fine quality jewelry, that piece will last longer and always stay beautiful. It might stay in the same family for generations, and through those years of wear, a lot of compliments will be made and a lot of people will be told where the piece of jewelry came from. You see, at a store like Underwood's, it's our stated goal to be the best jeweler in the South, not the biggest, so everything we do and carry has to help move us toward that goal. And ultimately, it's the satisfied customers wearing fine quality jewelry that have kept Underwood's in Jacksonville since 1928.
Underwood's in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
We've all been there. You hear about an incredible event Monday morning, but it happens Sunday. Stop missing out. Jacksonville is the flip side of Florida, and we have the solution. From under-the-radar sporting events to the perfect family outing or date night, Visit Jacksonville is your all-access pass to the city. Plan your 2026 season at visitjacksonville.com/locals. Visitjacksonville.com/locals. Or download the Visit Jax app for the full lineup. See what you've been missing.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman is brought to you by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, we got Loggy for a little more than an hour here. Jeff, text line heating up this morning. Let me get a couple of questions in front of you, starting with this. I thought this was a pretty good one. We talk about, who are the MVP individual players and performers, the top performers for the Jags. Which three position groups would you rank as the best for the Jags in 2026, factoring in everything you want to factor in? Or in 2025, excuse me.
Yeah. That's a great question, and gave me a chance to think about it a little bit there in the break. I'm going to start with, and in no particular order here, but I'll start with the safety group, just because Antonio Johnson had a tremendous year, 5 interceptions, he had 2 sacks. He was a high-level special teams performer as a gunner. Eric Murray, also with Andrew Wingard, and then I'm throwing Rayon Lane into that mix as well, who's a Pro Bowl caliber special teams player. It's not very often that you have a Pro Bowl caliber special teams player as a safety, and then you have, Antonio Johnson, Eric Murray, Andrew Wingard that combined for 7 interceptions and I think about 3 or 4 sacks as a group. And the way that they played, I think throughout the course of the year, and then I kind of had to mix and match a little bit with injuries. I thought they had a tremendous year. The specialist group, I think, is that's a position group, right? I mean, heck, you got the NFL's longest kick and the second longest kick ever with Cam Little at 68, 67, Pro Bowl, all pro level long snapper and Ross Matisic, and then Logan Cook, who seems to be top 5 in punting net every year and is one of the best, if not the best, holders in the National Football League. And then I'll go quarterback just because of the evolution of Trevor Lawrence this year, the way that he played in a first year system and the way that he finished down the stretch, career high 9 rushing touchdowns. He had 29 passing touchdowns. It's hard to argue that that position group shouldn't be right there at the top if you were going to rank them.
Yeah, right. It doesn't have to be all about the backups. I mean, Trevor plays 99 point whatever percent of the snaps, so he is basically the position group. I don't have an issue with that. And when it comes to the special,
let me just add.
Go ahead.
One thing here that I would put, and this is obviously a kind of a different category, but I would put this in, hey, the next man up position group. If you're going to consider 2 groups, I mean, to me, it's the offensive line and then the cornerback position. And what I mean by that is that they had a lot of different injuries this year, which is somewhat common, but not, I don't think, as frequent as what it was this year. And the way that they just kind of rotated the next guy in there, and then maybe a guy would go on IR for a short period of time and then come back and play and contribute, or just be out of the lineup for 2 to 3 weeks, and then they would move a guy here, and then they never seemed to miss a beat. I mean, those two position groups, I think, did a tremendous job, and you got to give a lot of credit to their coaches for being able to handle the different guys in the lineup and getting other guys ready to play, and then also in some cases in different roles.
That's a good call. Let me go back to the specialists here. Right, I feel like the Jags have had excellent specialist for a while. And, the coverage sometimes rises and falls as far as special teams go. Jeff, I know it's not the common path, but Anthony Campanile comes in, helps turn this defense around. He gets multiple head coaching opportunities. Grant Udinski, his first year, just associated with the improvement on offense. Not even as the play caller, gets multiple head coaching interviews and opportunities at least to explore. Why doesn't Heath Farwell get on the radar? I know it's not commonplace, but John Harbaugh was a special teams coach. He's shown, and he was the most coveted guy when he was let go by Baltimore. Are you surprised Heath Farwell's name is, to my knowledge, never really come up in a head coaching search?
No, and I think there was one other special teams coordinator, Mike, this year that got an interview as a head coach, and I don't remember the name of the guy that got that interview, but it was only one. And so it's just not very common that
Right.
special teams coaches get consideration for head coaching jobs. And I agree with you, and that, why not the special teams coaches? Because look, John Harbaugh's been one of the best coaches in the National Football League. And the reason he was such a hot property is obviously the track record that he has as a head coach. But yeah, it's kind of odd. And you would think that special teams coordinators would get more consideration because they're the coaches that have to deal with the entire roster.
Right.
And they have to manage multiple position groups across multiple special teams units. And, so I agree with you, if you're saying that, look, they should get more consideration as potential head coaches.
Yeah, that's what I am saying. Like, you're right. I feel like the position is, unless you are the offensive wizard, which some guys are, right? I feel like the position is as much about being a leader of men and being a CEO and making sure that everything is, working under your purview as best as it can. And you're right. I mean, a guy like Heath Farwell or any special teams coordinator has to, do with what he is given, dealing with different sets of players all the time. And
the kick is a play again in the NFL.
Right. The kick is there are so many different aspects. Yeah. It's not just like kickoff, it's kickoff coverage, it's kickoff returns. It's obviously, putting points on the board. I don't know. I mean, look, I'm glad Heath Farwell is here, and I'm glad Liam Cohen was smart enough to not outsmart himself and retain him. When he came in here last year, he well deserved to be retained, and much to the Jaguars' benefit. All right, hour 2 on the way with Jeff Lageman, 641-1010 on the Key Buick GMC phone lines. If you want to get in on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, you can do it that way as well. As we continue along, you're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Mystery Men.
I'm invisible. Can you see me?
Yeah. Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Do I know you guys?
I don't think so.
Changing the world one Guggen at a time.
Learn it, live it, love it.
Mornings on 1010XL.
We aim to please.
Coach Campo here, and I just want to tell you about the best pizza I've had right here in Duval, and that's Tony D's Pizza. Tony works hard to make every slice perfect. If you love pizza like I do, you need to go to Tony D's, Bay Meadows and 295.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On January 27, 1973, UCLA, led by Bill Walden, sets an NCAA record for consecutive victories with their 61st win after defeating Notre Dame.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $4,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning, then deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Ticket here for Action Garage Door. Nothing more frustrating than your garage door misfiring. When it does, I call Action Garage Door. They take action. Jeff and Art and crew, Jacksonville folks, not some big out-of-town chain. Something goes wrong with your garage door, take action. Check them out. Garage Door 911, GarageDoor911.com.
Are you ready for another historic season at the bank? It's time to lock in your seats for 2026 by placing your deposit now. Next season will be played at Everbank Stadium, but seating capacity is limited due to in-bowl renovations, and spots are going fast. Don't miss out on your chance to see the season's biggest matchups and highlight real moments by placing your deposit at jaguars.com/tickets or by calling 904-633-2000. Go Jags!
Finding the right plumber to reline your cast iron pipes doesn't have to be a stressful experience. When you hire Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, you can rest assured you're getting the best in the industry. At Superior Plumbing and Pipelining, we're so confident in our work that we encourage you to get multiple estimates. Look at each company's reviews and check the scope of their pipelining work to make sure it's what you're expecting. But at the end of the day, make the superior choice. Superior Plumbing and Pipelining. Request a free estimate at superiorplumbingjacks.com.
Hacker here, and I'll admit something I don't love admitting. At some point, you just kind of get used to being overweight. Not happy about it, just used to it. Like, yeah, this is me now. That was my mindset. I tried stuff, took the meds, cut carbs, all of it. And when none of it really worked, I remember thinking, all right, I guess I'm just gonna have to live with this. And that sucks. I didn't like saying it out loud, but that's where I was. When I finally started Awaken 182 years ago, I wasn't fired up. I was skeptical. I just didn't want to feel stuck anymore. Then 4 weeks went by where we are right now in the new year, and I was down 35 pounds in a month. And that's when it hit me. I wasn't broken. I just needed the right plan for me. That's what Awaken 180 gave me. That's what they'll give to you. Look, there is no magic pill that lasts. There is no healthy diet giving the results I got. There is simply Awaken 180. And you can talk with them today. Go online, awaken180weightloss.com.
Here's your 1010XL local sports update, sponsored by Peterbrook, your neighborhood chocolatier. Week 11 high school boys hoop poll is out. Jackson and Providence share the top spot as the regular season nears the finish line. Donovan Mitchell torched Orlando for 45 as Cleveland rolled to its fourth straight win. Evan Mobley added 20, while Pablo Banchero's 37 couldn't stop the Magic from dropping their third in a row. That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
It's right now 36 degrees at 11:01. Time and 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Jeff Lageman Tuesday on Jaguars Today is brought to you by Napa Auto Care. Go to the pros Napa know-how. JacksNapaAutoCareGroup.com on 1010XL.
All right, kicking off hour number 2 here on Jaguars Today. Happy birthday to Freddie T. Hit the big 5-0 today. Jeff Lageman here with us for one more hour before the offseason hiatus kicks in. So if you've got Jaguar questions, now is the time. Logs, I don't know if you can break it down this way or not, but I'll ask you the question that was asked by Bush Drive Rich, a frequent texter and tweeter of the program. Looking at the roster as it is now, Jeff, what 3 positions do you think we need to address in free agency rather than the draft? And I'm guessing maybe that's, you know, the draft, we didn't get a lot of immediate impact last year. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So what are 3 positions you think they need veteran help at right now? How would you prioritize that?
Oh, that's a great question, because a lot of that is going to depend on what you can get done between now and free agency to take care of some of the contracts that you have that are expiring. But I mean, just off the top of my head, I mean, for veteran guys, Um, for me, I would like to find a defensive lineman, defensive tackle, and a defensive end. I mean, just because I think you've got to find a way to address that depth and get more competitive with the depth that you have at those positions, and then also linebacker with the impending free agency of Devin Lloyd. I mean, to me, that's got to be it, and corner. So I mean, most of them are on defense. Give me a find me a defensive tackle, a linebacker, and a corner that can all come in and compete.
Jeff, based on what I've heard you say about them, you like both of these guys, but do you have a favorite as far as potential long-term impact between BJ Green and Danny Strigo?
You know what? I think they're so different, Tony, as players that I like both. Because I think the first, if you were saying, "Hey, look, who do you like on first and second down the most?" I would say, "Look, that's Danny Strigo." As a pass rusher, I like BJ Green better. And I don't know what the number of opportunities that BJ Green had, but he might have been, if you looked at it just from an analytics standpoint, and I know that the sample size is small, but his productivity might have exceeded anybody else as a pass rusher this year, given the chances that he had versus sacks, pressures, etc. I mean, he might be the best. I don't know. Um, but he's twitchy and he's got a really nice way of getting his hips and bend at the corner and balance as a pass rusher and an awareness of where he is relative to the quarterback. So I really like them both, but just two different ways. And Danny Strigo, the effort that he plays at, he's tough as nails. He plays strong. He plays bigger than what he is against the run. Yeah, two exceptional undrafted acquisitions by James Gladstone.
If you had to pick one, I would just go with whoever I think the best pass rusher is, man. All right. I mean, like, you got to get the quarterback on the ground more. And I know their infatuation with pressures and all that. Well, I'm still infatuated with sacks and, hitting the quarterback. And, sometimes pressures result in great plays and turnovers. Sometimes pressures result in the quarterback making a play because he was only pressured. If you could, let's assume ETN's gone. Okay. Would you rather add a running back who's going to get you 10 touchdowns or a defensive player who's going to get you 10 sacks?
That's a great question. Um, for me, I'm going to take the 10 sacks. Just
It's
because
tough,
I
though,
think
right? It's tough.
it is. I mean, yeah, it is. And and to go back just to the Strigo and BJ Green thing, you were saying, that it's tough to make a decision. You always want to take the guy that's a better pass rusher. I would agree with that. But the great thing is about these two guys is that you don't have to make that decision for
Sure.
quite a few years.
Absolutely.
So that's a good issue to have. And I think it just go ahead and highlights, I think, the importance of finding guys that are like this. That are undrafted, that don't cost you any equity to acquire, that give you flexibility when it comes to, oh, we have an expiring contract. Well, we got a couple of guys here that are undrafted that can go ahead and pick up the slack. I mean, the lifeblood of every franchise is the influx of talent, the young talent. It's the draft, but it's also the undrafted free agents that you bring into your organization. And James Gladstone did a really good job with the later round picks and the undrafted, and hopefully as we see some guys get healthier through the off season and then stay healthy next year, we'll see more productivity in the high end of the draft of this past year by James Gladstone.
Continuing the edge conversation here, how much pressure should the Jags be feeling to get a long-term deal done with Trayvon Walker, and where has Trayvon improved the most in your mind over the last couple of seasons?
Well, I think he's improved everywhere across the board, Tony, and I think the injuries, I think, probably kept a lot of that off display this past year, because I've seen him make more moves. I've seen him have a plan, but as a pass rusher this year, which in years past, I think it was somewhat lacking. The continued evolution of his dominance in the run game, it just continues to be put on display every week. The positional versatility, I think, definitely showed this year, even kind of through the lost time because of injury, and I love him, and he's a culture guy. You just hope that you can find some common ground when it comes to numbers, because he's not a premier pass rusher, and so you can't pay him like a premier pass rusher, but he's a dominant player, not so much as a dominant pass rusher, but he's a dominant player, and so you got to find a way to make it work for both sides in that situation, and it's not going to be easy.
What if you don't have that meeting of the minds, right? What if you like preliminarily discuss with Trayvon some contract parameters and you find out he does want to be paid like a premier pass rusher? You've got him under contract for one more year at the present time. Well, I'm not. Look, we all love Trayvon. They sat up in their presser a couple weeks ago, raved about how much he loves being here, how much they want him to be here. I'm not suggesting anyone's trying to push him out, but if you have a valuation on him that is so far off what he and his agent are going to be seeking in a long-term contract extension, do you at least, consider the possibility of moving him now and getting assets before you reach that point of no return?
No, because I think, Mike, that means that if you're considering doing that, then that means you're abandoning the objective of trying to find a way of continuing to work towards keeping him here. And so, in my mind, that's not even a consideration, And he is. I mean, he's just like James Gladstone and Liam Cohn talked about. I mean, he's one of those culture guys that you want to keep in the building. Um, and you love the guy. I mean, look, 27 and a half sacks that he has so far through the course of 4 years. In this past year, he was injured for the bulk of it. So you got basically 2 years, his rookie year, and then his past year, where the numbers weren't incredibly high, but the 2 year stretch in between, the middle of the Oreo cookie there is basically 20 and a half sacks. So I mean, he's a good pass rusher. He's not a great pass rusher, but he's still young, and just like Sam Darnold said, look, players are allowed to get better, and I think that he's going to continue to get better and evolve as a player, and especially as a pass rusher. But yeah, I would not want to even think about moving on from him now just to gain some type of assets, knowing or thinking that you're going to lose him eventually. To me, you just keep working and trying to find a way to get it done. And if you don't, at the end of the day, okay, you didn't get it done, but don't bypass that extra year as an opportunity to keep trying to get it done.
We talked about the boundaries of what you would want to pay ETN, right, during the first hour. What does that look like with Trayvon? Is that 28 to 30 million a year, which is right on kind of the edge of the top 10 to 15 edge players across the league?
Yeah, that's probably where it's going to be at, somewhere in that 25 to 30 range, a year, somewhere in that range. And, that's not cheap, I mean, but the reality is that he's a good football player, and he's tough. He's willing to play a little bit dinged up, and that mindset you got to love.
All right, with Jeff Lageman here, get your questions rolling in. Logs, when we come back, let's talk about Travis Hunter and the future of him here in Jacksonville. Easy to kind of forget about him because he didn't play the second half of the season. So let's dig into how you think he's going to be best utilized in 2026 and maybe beyond, as well as we continue along Jaguars Today here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. 1010XL.
She's here? Where is she?
Singing along to every word at the top of her lungs.
And what does that have to do with anything?
It has everything to do with anything. Lauren Brooks.
I'm just getting started.
Afternoons 2 to 4.
Gosh, you're an upbeat lady.
On 1010XL.
What's up, Duval? I'm Chad Volamic, owner of Purple Heart Pools, Jacksonville's veteran-owned pool company for over 10 years. We specialize in new pool construction and pool renovations, built on military values, integrity, communication, attention to detail, and honor. Now is the perfect time to start your pool project, so when the heat hits, your pool is ready. As an Iraq War veteran and Purple Heart recipient, pride in what I do is everything. Let me show you the difference in how my team and I execute your pool project with military precision. Call Purple Heart Pools, Jacksonville's veteran pool company.
Jaguars Today Tuesday is serviced by Jolington Creek Pest Control.
Make Capital Glass
Glass and Shower Doors, your premier choice for top quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
XL Prime Time is back where they belong.
Wait a minute, I know where that is.
Lunch is on Josie, Matt Hayes, and Leon.
You could lay a little barbecue on us?
From the big #1 Duval Ford Studios.
But somebody else is going to have to cook it.
Noon to 2 weekdays on 1010XL.
A new year is the perfect time to finally get organized. Hey, this is Lauren Brooks, and I love our closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live. From closets and garages to home offices, entertainment centers, laundry rooms, and more. Beautiful, functional storage for any space, lifestyle, and budget. Start the new year strong with 40% off plus an extra 15% off, free installation, and 18-month special financing. Schedule your free in-home consultation. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
When it comes to glass, you don't want average. You want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops. Windows replaced or repaired to stand up to Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror around these parts. It's Duval!
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Hi, this is Dave Barker with IHRS. Are you frustrated with those trendy pills, drops, and lotions that claim to make your hair thicker and fuller? Are you taking weight loss drugs or medication that's making your hair fall out? Whether you're frustrated with results from treatments that just don't work, or you no longer have the fuller, thicker hair that you once had, there's a better way. Our hair restoration solutions have helped literally over 10,000 men and women restore their hair in as little as 2 office visits.
Ready to grow your hair back and have permanent, natural, and guaranteed results? For your confidential consultation, call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or go to hairforme.com. That's hairforme.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Yeah, something on your mind, a better way to live your life. I hope you find it. Hey, something on your mind, you gotta keep on moving. Yeah, you might.
Jeff Lageman, Tuesday.
Is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care. Go to the pros Napa know-how. JacksNapaAutoCareGroup.com on 1010XL.
All right, moving through hour 2 of Jaguars Today this morning with Jeff Lageman. Jeff, yesterday we asked folks how should the Jags utilize Travis Hunter in 2026. I'm not surprised at the results, but want to get your take. The options we gave them were mainly corner and a part-time wide receiver, mainly wide receiver and a part-time corner. Let the matchup dictate week to week what is used mainly as, or let him try to be as much a full-time two-way player as he can be, which was what the goal was when you gave up all those draft picks to get him. How do you think Travis Hunter is best utilized for this football team, and how do you think he will be utilized?
I think it's going to be one of those where is he needed most at situations. And I think just looking, right now at where this roster is at and after this past year, I mean, this team has a need for, an elite shutdown corner. And those are hard to find. And Travis showed signs of that this year. He showed signs of being a really good receiver. But look, what would you rather have? A really good receiver, which is a position group that many believe you can find talent. Where the hardest position maybe to find in all of football is an elite shutdown corner. So, I kind of had the mindset after the draft that I thought he was the best wide receiver in the draft and he was the best corner in the draft. And if I had to make a choice as to what side of the ball would I put him on, I was saying offense. I would have to make a choice, and I've kind of flip flopped on that. I just think that as a shutdown corner, you can do a lot of different things. I think as a coaching staff and with scheme when you have one of those guys. I mean, look at the impact of like a Deion Sanders had, and that's obviously Hall of Fame, elite category, and could Travis Hunter be in that category? I mean, right now he's been showing some skills, and as a rookie, he showed skills that he could be that guy. So for me, I'm kind of leaning towards, hey, mostly on defense, and then certain things on offense. The thing that I think that is concerning is that if you try to do both, are you really allowing him to flourish on either one of them? On either side of the ball, or as a total player? So I think you almost have to have packages for him, and you can do that on offense, whereas defense, let him be that elite shutdown corner.
I'll ask you a question Jaguar fans probably don't want to hear asked, but I'll ask it anyway, because what the heck? It's January 27th, and asking it is not going to have an impact on anything. But the Jags made the move to get Travis Hunter, in part giving up first and second last year, first this year. They also got a pick swap in their favor last year. But primarily gave up 2 firsts and a second to get him, and described him as being a generational player, a unicorn, a guy who would redefine football, right? Kind of reset the boundaries of what was possible. If he is not that, and he's only an excellent player on one side of the ball, did they pay too much to get him?
If he's an elite shutdown corner, no. If he's an elite Hall of Fame wide receiver, no. I mean, how many? I mean, you go when you look at like the trade for Sauce Gardner this year. I mean, what did the Colts give up
They
to
gave
get
up
Sauce
two
Gardner?
firsts and generally got panned across the board for making the deal.
Yeah, I mean, so I mean, look, I don't really. I think that whether he's an elite player on offense or an elite player on defense, and then has packages on the other side of the ball, but is not a true two-way player, I think to me, it's still a good trade. I mean, even if he's an elite corner only, or if he's an elite wide receiver only, I still think that the trade was good. And I believe that there is going to be true two-way capabilities with Travis Hunter. It's just a matter of what percent of snaps on one side of the ball versus the percent of snaps on the other side of the ball. I don't think that he will be a true 100% on each side of the ball. I just don't think that that's wise, and I don't think that that would be smart to deploy him in that aspect. But I think you've got to find a way to get him on the field on the defensive side of the ball more, just because that, I mean, from day one, when he stepped on the field as a defender, he was your best corner, hands down, not even close. From day one on the field, he wasn't, your best wide receiver, hands down. It wasn't even close. So yeah, but it's going to be an interesting watch, and I think it makes this football team very intriguing from the national perspective, and it will drive a lot of eyeballs towards this football team in the future.
Parker Washington was so good in the back half of the season among that wide receiver group for the Jaguars. How much does Parker's role in the offense affect how much they want to play Travis Hunter, maybe a wide receiver going into next season, and how big of a role do you think Parker Washington should have for him?
Well, I think he's going to have a huge role. I think he's going to be a hands down clear starter. Parker Washington. The impressive thing about Parker was just like, look, we've seen glimpses of Parker in past years, but this year he finally got the opportunity to be, to have more of a role, and he absolutely made it work. And the yards per catch average was impressive. I mean, when you think of Brian Thomas Jr., you think of him as the deep threat, right, to this offense. Well, Parker Washington's yards per catch average was right there with Brian Thomas Jr., but he did it in a different way. So it was fun to watch him. Were any of us surprised by the emergence of Parker Washington? Probably not. I mean, just because we saw him in small glimpses before and were very impressed with him before, and excited about what the future holds for him. I think he's got even. It's not like we've seen the best of Parker Washington. I think we got a lot. We got a lot more growth to see out of Parker Washington as a wide receiver, and continue to be excited about him and his return ability.
How difficult do you think it's going to be to put a value on what he does for this football team, right? If you look at the second half of the year, Jeff, we took a look at this yesterday. Parker Washington was on a 1,200-yard pace, right? So, I mean, that's kind of a number one receiver, a legit number one receiver number there. Now, this offense may limit him to being, one of several 800-yard guys or whatever, or maybe not. Maybe he continues on that pace he was on, but I mean, how difficult do you think this is going to be? He's only going to be 24 years old this year. He's still incredibly young. In fact, hasn't turned 24 yet. Is arguably your number one wide receiver. Doesn't fit the profile of an NFL number one in terms of height and some of the measurables. But how tough do you think it's going to be to come to a compromise number for what he provides for your team, what he wants on the open market, and what you're able to afford?
Yeah, I think that the days of kind of stereotyping a number one wide receiver with height and weight, I think those days are probably over with the emergence of Jackson and Jibba Smith in Seattle, right? I mean, you look at him and you go, he's not a number one, but he plays the game like a true number one. And Parker Washington, I think, physically has traits that are even more impressive just because he's bigger. He's got bigger lower body. So look, is he a true number one? I don't know if he's a true number one or not. But if he's not a true number one, boy, you'd like to have. Show me the number one that you're gonna have, right? And you hope that Brian Thomas Jr. can get back on track after kind of having a rough start to this past year and can be more of the player that we saw going back a couple years ago. And if you have him at that level, then Parker at that 1,200 yards per season level that you kind of project out from the end of this year, and then you add in the fact you've got a young tight end and Brenton Strange that I think is one of the best in the league. I mean, this offense is going to have a lot of weapons, and it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I think. Excuse me, Tone. I just think when you look at Jacoby Myers was averaging. We looked at it 53 yards a game for the Jags. That's what he averaged, and they gave him $20 million a year. I mean, the top of the wide receiver market is double that. If Parker Washington is your number one, why shouldn't he expect to be paid $30 million a year, somewhere in the middle range of that?
He might be there. Look, I mean, the reality is he may end up being there at some point. And look, that's a good problem to have, right? I mean, here we are talking about, oh, well, this guy's number and this is going to be his value. And can you find a way to keep him and bring him back? I mean, it means you got a good roster. The challenge again, is finding those guys in the upcoming drafts to continue to replenish your roster so that you can be a sustainable winner.
Logs, I've already got the feeling that this is going to pop up every now and then just between now and draft time, and that is Brian Thomas Jr. and what impetus the Jags may have to move him at some point in this offseason. What would you have to be offered in a trade for Brian Thomas Jr. for you to even consider that as an option?
Oh, gosh. I mean, first of all, I don't want to trade him just because, I mean, he's got in this past year, if you looked at just this past year, you'd say, you know what, yeah, I'm going to listen to offers. But if you go back and you watch his rookie year, you go, no, I'm not giving anybody the opportunity of taking him away from us. But the reality is, I think everybody's got a price probably. Um, yeah, I mean, it would take, high number one and something else special, a couple first day picks, right? And one of them's got to be a number one.
Yeah, I don't think you'll have to worry about trading him and then. I don't think anybody's giving a high number one for Brian Thomas at this point in the proceedings. But we'll see. Look, I don't think I don't want to move off him either. I think altogether their skill sets fit very well, and they give you a lot of different options. And when you add Travis Hunter to the mix, however much he's going to end up playing, I think you've got a strong overall receiver core as you've had in decades here in Jacksonville. So we'll see what they're able to do in terms of keeping them all together beyond 2026. All right, Jeff Logman for a couple more segments. Hang in there, Logs. We'll continue to pour the questions your way. You can continue to get them in at 641-1010 on the Checkmate Coatings phone or text line and or on the phone lines from Key Buick GMC. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark, RJ Sauter. Sorry, RJ, my bad. I didn't look up. Had I would have recognized you. And Jeff Loggeman here with you. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here. If you're looking for the best selection of trucks in Jacksonville, it's truck time at Big Number 1 Duval Ford on Cassett Avenue. They've got Jacksonville's largest selection of brand new trucks with massive discounts. Duval Ford offering over $10,000 off select models. That's right, savings you're not going to find anywhere else. Your next truck is waiting at Big Number 1 Duval Ford, so visit DuvalFord.com or stop by 1616 Cassett Avenue today. It's truck time at Big Number 1 Duval Ford.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. It sure is great living in the Sunshine State. It sure is great living on the First Coast. Jacksonville Sports Radio is 1010XL.
Flame Broiler, the Rice Bowl King, is turning up the flavor with new char wings. These wings are charbroiled, never fried, grilled to perfection for a big taste without the grease. Grab them as a 3-piece or 10-piece side, or make it a meal with a 6 or 8-piece combo, served with rice and a drink. Order pickup or delivery today from any of Flame Broiler's 5 Jacksonville locations, or call 904-619-2786. Flame Broiler, bold flavor done right.
Not everyone is built for a cubicle. At Local 234, apprentices get paid to learn hands-on skills like plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC, the stuff Jacksonville runs on. No endless lectures, no massive student debt, just hands-on training, real jobs, and real pay. This is how you level up, by doing work that actually matters. Check them out at UA234.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Local 234. Make the right connection.
Jaguars Today Tuesday, kept pest-free by Chillington Creek Pest Control.
I'm Frank Franzi, and I just got back from the farm at Okefenokee in Folkestone. Man, was I impressed. You have to see these handcrafted cabins. But act fast. On this 1,000-acre farm, there will only be 250 cabins. Each phase has jumped in value, so come get your lot and lock in your equity. Enjoy living in harmony with nature, going to the grocery store in your own backyard, and connecting with people grounded in food and purpose. Learn more at okefarm.com. That's okefarm.com.
Former Russian political prisoner and Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Vladimir Karamurza takes the stage at the Center for Performing Arts. Hear his powerful story of courage, imprisonment, and freedom February 3rd. Get your tickets now at thefloridaforum.com.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Start the fresh new you with Local Fair Jacks, the online farmers market delivering fresh local food to your door. Start for just $7 with code FRESH1010 at localfairjacks.com.
Low mortgage rates are back. Listen, Loan Pronto has fixed rate mortgages with APRs as low as 4.89%. It's the lowest in years. Hey, gang, Prosser here. Smart homeowners are taking advantage of this while they can. If you got stuck in a 6% loan, you can lower your payment big time, or you can keep your primary mortgage intact, get cash out. Equity with Loan Pronto's rapid equity loans. One homeowner just got $250,000 out of their home. They paid off all their credit cards, some car loans, and cut their monthly expense by $2,000. Call now. See what option works best for you, but don't miss this big rate drop of 2026. Ask about new home loans, VA loans, full cash out refis, or their famous rapid equity loan. You can close in less than 2 weeks. You may be able to skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call 904-999-1508 or visit loanpronto.com. No hard credit pull. 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit
NMLSconsumeraccess.org. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
All right, the golden moment for me today, honestly, was walking outside to the driveway, Tony, and realizing the car was not a block of ice. I don't know what that has to do, maybe with the humidity and how much precipitation's in the air.
Dry cold today,
something like, it was a dry cold. So they tell you. You always talk about the dry heat out west. I don't know. But, Logs, are you enjoying these temperatures? Does this get you out in the woods a little bit more, maybe keep you out of the kayak for the next week or what?
That's just a little extreme for me, Mike. I kind of like cooler temperatures. I'm one of those guys that if it's overnight in the mid to high 40s and the daytime highs right around 60, that's a good winter for me. But when you wake up and it's 30 degrees or down in the 20s, a little parts norther than we are, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, ET this morning doing an update. It's like, it's 28 degrees in Jacksonville. Like, get the hell out of here, man, with that nonsense. I don't want to hear that kind of stuff. So, hey, who knows? Maybe this deters Travis Etienne from coming back. He doesn't like cold weather environments, Logs, he told us. So
I have a friend that fled North Carolina for the last couple of days to come down here.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wrong time to do it.
Yeah.
The one wrong week to do it, Logs.
How many, you guys have your weather apps on your phone, right? I mean, like everybody does, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How many different locations do you have, like in your weather app?
I got 10.
Yeah,
I got 10. I maxed it out. You want to guess, or you want me to tell you?
No, what do you have? Like, maybe some family members or friends, their places, cities, or whatever.
I'll
right?
give you one word what my weather searches are related to, Tony.
Golf.
All right. I got
golf. Okay.
I got Jacksonville because that's work. Right. I got Bunnell because I play down in Bunnell all the time. I get Daytona Beach, LPGA International. I got Palatka because why else would you have Palatka unless you're going out there to play their golf course, right? I got St. Augustine. I live there. Fleming Island, that's strictly to play Fleming Island. St. John's.
Those are all kind of the same, though, Mike.
Well, they are, but I want to know exactly. It's more not about the temperature; it's about the rainfall, right? Because rainfall can be localized, and I want to know as I'm heading to my tee time: is it raining? Like St. John's, that's basically the Champions Club in Julington Creek, right? That's the little area there. Yeah.
So, Tony, what do you got? I mean, Mike's got all local.
These are all golf.
What do you have, Tony?
It's probably just places that I've had to travel to here in the last couple of years. So it would be like Jacksonville and St. Augustine, like Miami, maybe Orlando, that kind of thing, but not much beyond that.
All right, so like on my phone, during the course of the season, you always add and subtract, wherever your destinations are, wherever the away games are at. But on my phone, I always keep, like my brother lives outside of Memphis, so I've got Memphis in there. I got a buddy of mine who lives up in West Virginia. I got talent up in there, and I got family in Texas. I got one there. I got family up in North Dakota. And, so everything's relative, right? We're sitting here complaining about 30 degrees, and my family that lives up there in Langdon, North Dakota, that's where my mom's side of the family is at and where they're from. I just pulled up them. So here we are complaining about, 28, 30 degrees first thing in the morning. I'm looking at the 10-day forecast for Langdon, North Dakota, guys. How about this? These are the daytime highs: -6, -5, -2, -5, Oh, man, it's going to have a little warming trend: 15, 14, 10, and 19. How would you like to live in that?
Well, you know what they got in North Dakota? They got moving trucks as well. So I'm not forced to live in North Dakota, nor is anyone else for that matter, unless you're
And you
like
plug your
in the
car
military.
in at night. I mean, I don't ever want to live in a place where I have to plug my car in at night to keep it from freezing.
It's like anything else, man. If you're prepared for it, it's fine. But I mean, that's like, just think all the money you save by not having to be prepared for it, right? Like shorts and Tony Smith is wearing shorts.
I am
today, for the record.
I'm going to be outside for 30 seconds.
I gotcha. I understand that thinking, right? I really do. So anyway, just thought that was of interest to me and probably no one else. Logs, Tony and I were just discussing on the break a moment ago. I said, Tony, what do you think we need to cover with Jeff? And he said, let's get into offensive line. Like, how much status quo are you comfortable with? Would you run it back with the entire same group? And not to speak for Tony, but one of his particular points, and I want to give him credit, he wanted to know how you would best utilize Walker Little, where you see the best path for him to be relevant for this offensive line.
Well, I think you allow him to compete in the future for a spot. I think a lot of what the roles are for this offense are going to be how it plays out with Cole Van Lannon and Anton Harrison and where they end up. I think that's going to be probably one of the first discussions they have about that position group. And then Walker Little is just going to have to compete. I think he definitely has fallen out of the starter category for this group. I mean, so could you potentially look at a trade for him? I mean, yeah, but at the same token, I mean, one of the reasons why they reconstructed this offensive line the way they did is because they knew that they were going to have injuries and they wanted to keep this group as solid as possible. But you've got some young players in there that are going to be stepping up, and Wyatt Milam, and I think Jonah Monheim is going to be a really good backup on the interior spots, and then also at center. Chuma Doga, I think, and McCary are going to be two guys that are going to be interesting to see kind of how that works out. McCary with the back, that was an issue kind of for the most of the year. Cole Van Lannon ending the season there with a knee injury. What's their offseason going to look like? Are they going to need fixing or what? So, but yeah, I mean, I think you feel really good about that group. I don't think you're going to do any types of major moves with that group, but you're not going to be afraid about upgrading it here or there.
Where do you think Wyatt Milam plays if he does to begin the season next year?
I think his best position is going to be right guard, Tony. I mean, if you look at the offensive line and you say, okay, where can we get better at? McCary was solid and a good player, but there was a lot of in and out of the lineup with the injured back. I think that his best position is guard. I think he can play tackle. That he's got positional flexibility. I think he's probably played more right tackle, and I wouldn't feel completely uncomfortable if he were playing right tackle, but I think his true home is at right guard. He's got that right guard mentality about him. And Ezra Cleveland really has, I think, had a solid year at left guard. I thought it faded out a little bit at the end. Ezra's performance did, but I mean, throughout the most of the year, he was really good. But Wyatt Milam to me is a right guard, and I think he's in the starting lineup next year.
All right, let's hold the offensive line talk. We've got some news that will hopefully make Jaguar fans happy as Tony Smith takes us around the NFL.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
Well, the news coming out of Buffalo right now is that they are promoting their own offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, to be their next head coach. So, Udinski.
Yeah, baby, come on
back here to Jacksonville, it appears. Philip Rivers had withdrawn his name from consideration for the Bills job yesterday. Officially, the LA Chargers have hired former Miami head coach Mike McDaniel as their new offensive coordinator. The Chargers also signed defensive tackle Tier Tart to a 3-year contract extension that could be worth up to $37.5 million. The line for the Super Bowl opened with Seattle as a 3.5-point favorite over New England. That has been bet up to a 4.5-point line now in favor of the Seahawks. 12 days before the game, the last time the Patriots were an underdog in a Super Bowl was going back to their first Super Bowl win with Tom Brady over the, at the time, St. Louis Rams in 2002. The underdog is covered in 5 straight Super Bowls, having won the last 3 outright and 4 of the last 5.
All right, there you go. Logs, what do you make of it? It appears Grant Udinski is coming back with a little heftier paycheck, which doesn't bother me one bit. Go ahead and spend Shad Khan's money. I'm very happy. Look, Grant Udinski's going to continue to get opportunities to as long as the Jaguars offense continues to flourish. But I'm very delighted if he is back in his role in Jacksonville next year.
Yeah, I mean, you got to like that. Just, the consistency of being there for your quarterback and your offense. And, and the great thing about Grant Udinski, I think a lot of times he gets overlooked just because everybody says, well, Liam Cohen is the offensive play caller and he's essentially the offensive coordinator. Well, look, for Liam Cohen to be special as a head coach, he's got to have somebody that he trusts to handle the day-to-day development of the offense and the running of the offense. And Grant Udinski allows him to be more involved with the offense and the defense and talking to players across the entire football team. So, yeah, an incredibly important piece. And, I was really glad to see Udinski essentially pull away from the Cleveland situation. I was sitting there going, man, if he ends up taking that job, I mean, that's not a good job to take. It's not a good setup. The top of the organization, I think there's a lot of question marks. Their quarterback has a lot of question marks. And then when his name was kind of still in the running for the Buffalo job, I was like, man, who in the world is a young offensive minded coach, wants to go to Buffalo when they just fired the guy who was so incredibly successful just because he didn't get to the Super Bowl? I mean, how good of an environment could that possibly be? So, if Grant has patience, there's going to be some opportunities that pop up for him in the future that are going to be great opportunities and better setups than what was available this year.
I don't know, man. Probably getting a chance as a first-time head coach to fall into Josh Allen is pretty damn attractive to me. But
No doubt, and it's also like hitting the lottery. I mean, look, you go from making $1 million, million and a half, 2 million, whatever it is, as a coordinator to having a guaranteed contract that's going to be somewhere in the the 5, 6, 7+ $1 million range a year, and those are guaranteed contracts. So you never pass up the opportunity just because you don't know when that opportunity is going to come knocking again, and the financial windfall is monstrous.
all right, let's take our final time out here, get a few odds and ends to wrap up on the other side before we send you off into the great off season there, Jeff Lageman, here on Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
At Hollis Pools, building a pool is personal. We sit down with you, listen to your vision, and bring your backyard dreams to life right here in Northeast Florida. Working with us doesn't feel like working with a contractor. It feels like working with family. Every Hollis Pools project supports Project Savior Outdoors, helping bring hope to our veterans. Visit hollispools.com. Hollis Pools, your vision, your pool, your escape. License number CPC 1461233.
Jaguars Today Tuesday.
Protected by Shillington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Be the first to discover the best new home community in beautiful Green Cove Springs. Highland Trail, where the rhythm of life slows down. Enjoy green spaces, luxury pools, pickleball courts, winding trails, and more at livehighlandtrail.com. Choose from 3 premium builders, just starting in the 300s.
Oh, at Highland Trail.
Do you want to grow your career with a company that's committed to growing with you? Florida Home AC has aggressive plans to double their workforce, and they're looking for determined, resourceful people with initiative. Just log on to floridahomeac.com/careers to find out more.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is JJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at kuhnflowers.com.
New year, new lifetime dreams. Let's build them together. Jeff Breyer here with the Lifetime family of companies, your local backyard
and indoor
home improvement specialists.
That's right, Dad. Lifetime enclosures, Lifetime flooring, and Lifetime windows.
Glass and screen enclosures, outdoor kitchens, pergolas, replacement windows, all to enhance your home's livability and value.
And a huge flooring showroom with thousands of the latest tile, LVP, hardwood, and carpet selections to help you fall in love with your home again.
Come experience the Lifetime difference. Call or visit one of our showrooms today for our limited Lifetime offers.
San Jose Collision in Mandarin is proud to be an iCar Gold Class collision repair facility. That means they meet the industry's highest training standards. Experience the difference at San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I love it. You shouldn't have, but I'm glad you did.
The love that a little box from Beard's Diamonds can hold is something that those big box jewelry stores can't understand. As Town Center's only locally owned jeweler with international connections, Beard's Diamonds knows that our little boxes are full of promises, celebrations, milestones, and magic. Big box jewelers only have big overhead and big markups, but Beard's Diamonds sees the big picture of the little box. That's why you can look to us for a great selection of dazzling diamonds and designer jewelry, and a listen-first approach to helping you turn what's in a little box into a big part of your special someone's life. Come experience the local, loyal, and helpful difference of Beard's Diamonds in Town Center. When it comes to helping you celebrate with beautiful jewelry, Beard's Diamonds thinks outside the big box stores. And that makes a big difference. Beard's Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. When you need a trailer hitch, gooseneck, or RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We've been doing it for 55 years, and customer service is our #1 priority. Visit cannonsofjacks.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
I make that noise all the time, man. What can I tell you? Jaguars today coming down the stretch here, Logs. I got one question and one comment for you. Okay, the comment's not from me. I'll get to that in a moment. Final question for you we'll call it the last official Check the Tape Tuesday, even though we're not checking any tape today. Brian Picucci, signed from the Tampa Bay staff, was their offensive line coach, going to be coming in here and help coordinate the run game. Do you know anything about him other than what I just told you and the fact that he's worked with Liam Cohen at a number of stops throughout his career?
I don't, but I do know that the Jaguars lost their assistant offensive line coach in Khalili. I thought he did a very good job. He went on to take an opportunity somewhere else, and so you'd like to have another guy to kind of step in along with that position group. So yeah, it makes sense because Brian Picucci was around Liam for multiple years, and from what I've read, it's been about the last 2 years, and then I think maybe a year or so at Kentucky as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, here's the comment. Okay, it's a little bit of a lengthy one, but I'll read it to you. I think it will make you smile as you head into the off season here. Jeff, got this on the text line earlier this morning. Want to thank your show, and Jeff in particular moved here in 2012 and was a Bears fan. Have listened to Jaguars Today for years. I'm now Duval till we die, thanks to your passion for the Jags. I'm assuming when they say your passion, he's talking about everyone's here. Check the Tape Tuesdays is appointment radio for me. Really enjoy listening to Jeff's insights on the show. Travel a lot, so I listen to Jeff on the game broadcast as well. Appreciate his ability to make things easier to understand. I'm moving to Atlanta next week, but I'll still be listening on the app. Figure the Jaguars are finally getting good now that I'm leaving. Maybe I've been the problem, LOL. Thanks again. Don't underestimate the impact your show is making in the community. I think that's going a little bit far, but I appreciate it if you get some enjoyment.
No, I don't
for
think
a
it's
couple
going
hours
far,
every day.
Mike. Let's pat ourselves on the back, man. It's like, look, I think that's a great compliment to everybody. I mean, everybody that does this show. I mean, it's not just about any one particular person. I mean, it takes everybody to kind of make that boat go forward. Everybody's got an oar.
No doubt. All right. Well, Logs, where are you going to be rowing for the next several months? Where are we going to hear from you? You're
I'm
going to
hoping.
disappear.
I'm hoping I'm not going to be rowing a whole lot. I'm actually hopefully going to be, behind an outboard motor or an electric motor on the front, the trolling motor, and then also in the tractor quite a bit, getting ready for multiple projects at the farm. So everything's good.
All right, man. Well, enjoy your off season. We appreciate your service on Check the Tape Tuesday. Look forward to running it back again for the 26th season.
Yeah, we'll catch up sometime
Oh,
pre-draft.
sure. No doubt about it, man. All right, Loggy, have a good off season, buddy.
Okay, boys.
All right, there he
See ya.
goes. Jeff Loggeman on the way out. Matt Hayes on the way in.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
How do you feel about that as a 1-for-1 trade? Loggeman for Hayes. Pretty even value?
It's not good.
No, not good.
That's a gigantic step.
I didn't bring this up to Jeff, right? Because I wouldn't want him to take this the wrong way. This guy, Logs gave me some memorabilia when we started doing the show. I was a Jets fan coming up and all. And so if you look closely, like in the shot when I do like podcasts and whatever, you'll see mostly Jag stuff, but I've got a Loggeman jersey, for instance, hanging up in my studio at the house. And so I mentioned that we had a guest on, and everyone's on Zoom now, right? When you do guests. And they were a Jets fan. I said, oh, look, I got this Loggeman autographed jersey. And he's like, who's that? I'm like, oh, do you have the internet? Like, and he came back, like the next time he came back, he goes, I couldn't find anything out about this guy. I'm like, what are you, is your computer broken? Like, what the hell, man?
It's not good.
That's not good. I mean, have we lost our ability to realize that the world didn't start when we were born, Matt?
By the way, how did you go from Yankees to Jets, not Yankees to Giants? Isn't that typically the
I don't
move?
know. I don't know anything typical about it. I just chose one at the time. I was a Yankee fan first and living in Connecticut at the time, and I just had to choose one or the other, and I went with the Jets. And that's what I went with, and I always stuck with it, until I basically left that to the side over the last couple of decades. It's hard not to when you're covering a team like this, and particularly a show like Jaguars Today. And I think I made the right off-ramp decision there, Matt.
I agree.
What's coming up today?
We got Coach Duff coming in. He's going to break down the championship games, and we also got a lot of college football on the way. Transfer portal has been closed, and now here we are. These are your teams. Deal with it.
Deal with it, right? Until somebody challenges the transfer portal.
By the way, how about
thing.
Pavius measuring it at 5'9"3/4 at the Senior Bowl?
Tony, you have any issue with this?
No, I don't know.
What, Castellanos is what, like 5'7" or something? What is he? I don't know, man. So, yeah, there's some short dudes running around out there playing college ball right now.
Yeah.
Good for them. Matt, have a great show.
All right, boys.
All right, there you go. Matt Hayes coming up along with the XL Primetime crew for the next couple of hours. Tony Smith and I will dig through what's left over tomorrow. Thanks to Jeff once more on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Johnny O will be in studio with us tomorrow. For RJ Saunders, Tony Smith, Jeff Loggeman, I'm Mike Dempsey. Thanks for listening to Jaguars Today. Back again tomorrow from 10 to noon on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson